Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree and this is the Q&A. So I put together all the questions that you guys asked and I wrote them down, and then some of them were repeats, so I'm going to clump them together. Alright, so let's get started. The first question is, at what age did I start drawing and painting? To be honest, I really have no idea. My mom said that that is just something that I used to do any chance I got. So instead of watching TV or anything like that, I was drawing. She had set up a little table with some markers and crayons and paper, and that's where I was most of the time. I remember she used to make out of cereal boxes. She would cut the big flat part, and on the inside it was always just brown. So she would draw a picture, and then she was into cross stitching. So she would draw this picture of, like, we'll say a house, and then she would put holes in the little drawing, almost like connect the dots, but I sewed to the next number until I made this house. So I remember doing that when I was really little, and that was I remember that it was probably one of my favorite things to do. So anyway, to answer the question, as long as I can remember, honestly, I have just been always wanting to be better at drawing. So my next questions are, how did you get into art? And then another question is, did you start off by copying and learning from others, or did you always know your own style and what you wanted to create? And then another one that kind of ties in with that is, am I a self-taught artist, or did I take classes? So how did I get into art? You know, I think I got into art because my mom was always doing something like that. She was cross-stitching. She drew. I remember she used to draw, and she still does. She draws little images for baby showers and things like that. My grandfather was an architect. My dad worked in that type of field for the longest time. And so it just kind of like, my aunt is very artistic, my other aunt is very artistic, so really I think it just kind of ran in the family, and that's kind of like what we did. And so since everyone was familiar with it, it was presented to me and I kind of ran with it. Did I start off by copying things? Oh yes, of course I did. I don't think anyone just starts drawing and they like know exactly what they want to do and what mediums are their favorite, and they know and they can create something exactly how they have it in their head. No way, no way, no way. It's all about practice. So I can remember drawing from tape cassettes. So like if I was really into Little Mermaid at the time, I would draw the Little Mermaid VCR, the VHS tape, and what the art was on the front of the VHS tape. I remember copying from magazines. You know, I don't think that, and it was always just with pencil at first. I really didn't get into color until I was in high school. And then in high school, I did take art classes in high school. I took art class because I was always good at it. And art and PE, that's what gave me my A's, you know? Like, I just, I was good at it and I enjoyed it, and it was a fun class for me. And I know that a lot of kids don't find it fun. They find it very, very challenging in a different way. Not like math is challenging, but they almost have the problem of, you know, not ever having a right answer. But anyway, so yeah, I took a bunch of classes in high school, and then I went on to college and I studied to be an art education teacher. K through 12 is what I graduated with. And so I took a bunch of university classes and ended up getting a teaching job at the high school that I graduated from at 23. So I was a high school art teacher, and I was that for 9 years. Another question that kind of ties along with this is, what inspired me to start YouTube was the fact that I quit my job and we moved 800 plus miles away from our family and our friends, so for my husband's career, and I wanted to do something creative. I missed the interaction with the kids. I missed being able to actually sit down and do work, you know, plan out a time to do it. And kind of YouTube was my way of being able to, okay, Bree, you're going to sit down and you're going to actually do some art today. You know, I was, when we moved here, I was 7 months pregnant and I had a 15-month-old. So I was really busy. So this kind of, starting my YouTube channel made me do some art. And then on top of that, I decided to start the Pen Pal series, and that got me familiar with and made friends with other people here on YouTube, and I needed that too. I didn't really know anyone here, so I was trying to build relationships, even if it was over the internet, doing things that I enjoyed. So in a nutshell, that's how I got into art. That's how I practiced. That's how I went to college and got my education degree. And then that's how I started YouTube. The next question is, how did I start journaling and when? I have been an avid journaler my whole life. I found my journal, like my first journal, and it was probably in 4th grade that I started. So I've been a writing journaler since 4th grade. And if I look back at those, there's doodles in there, and there's little pictures that I was drawing. You know, I wouldn't call it an art journal, but I did play around in it a little bit with just the pen that I was writing with. I didn't add any other mediums into the book. I would say I started art journaling in 2006. I was teaching, and all of a sudden they wanted me to teach fibers. And so what I learned to do is I learned to bookbind, and then I thought, well, if we're going to bind these books in class, then I'd like to do something in them. So I started making prompts, and then every Friday my kids would come in, they would grab their art journal, and they would do the prompt. So they could, you know, add anything they wanted to complete the page. It could be paint, it could be marker, it could be writing, it could be whatever they wanted to complete that page. And then at the end of the semester, they turned in that book as their final. And so they had almost a completed book. It was really kind of neat. So that is kind of when I started art journaling. A person that inspired me with this project that I started in class and just art journaling in general was Alyssa Burke. I took her online class called Sketchbook Delight, and it just opened a whole nother art realm for me, like a traveling art realm, which was really cool, because for me in college, this will tie into another question. Let's see, what question is this? The question is, what is my favorite medium? So in college, my emphasis, you always had to have an emphasis, and my emphasis was large sculpture. So I did a lot of welding, and I have a lot of pieces out of clay and ceramic, and my parents actually have a lot of them in their yard right now, but that was kind of like what I enjoyed the most, in college. Once I got out of college, I started to be on this more minimalist journey, and I started to want everything compact. So finding the journal and art journaling and doing that class from Alyssa Burke really inspired me, and I really just ran with it, and I took off, and 28 books later, I'm sitting here right now talking to you guys. So I would say that's kind of when the art journaling started in 2006, and with that class, and I really just haven't looked back. I have counted my previous journals, my written journals, in that bunch when I say it's volume 28. I had, I think, just 2 or 3 before I really started picking up on this art journaling thing. Like in high school and in college, I think I wrote in 1 each, and those were like, you know, big old 5 subject spiral notebooks. So I filled one of those for high school and one of those for college. But yeah, that's kind of how it all kind of started for me. And to go back, my favorite medium in college was the large sculpture, but my favorite medium now would have to be watercolor. Pen and ink and watercolor to be exact. And this kind of goes along with another question, which was if I was like stranded on a desert island and I could only have 3 journaling items and then my journal, what would I bring? And I would definitely bring, and I don't know how this really works. Like if I was going to bring paint, does that automatically give me a paintbrush? Let's just say it doesn't. So let's say it's just 3 items. Okay, so I'd have my journal or my sketchbook. I would have my set of watercolors. Let's say that's 1 item, okay? So I would take my Daniel Smith watercolors, so that's this guy right here. I would take a size 6 black velvet travel brush, and I would take either a fountain pen, if I had unlimited ink, in probably fine tip, or I would take a Stettler pen size 0.3 if it had never dried out. So those would be my 3 things. Yeah, my watercolors, pen and ink, and then a paintbrush. So next question. Oh wait, I guess that also kind of ties into my favorite supplies. I did a favorite supply video actually last week, and I will link that in the description box below. You know, my favorite supplies do not really change. I just try and make each supply that I have a little better. So I've been trying really hard to find a fine liner that I like, and I finally found the brand that I like, which is Stettler. For now, that could easily change if something else comes out. But I kind of just stick with the same things over and over. Watercolor, pen and ink. I really do love stencils. I use my distress inks with my stencils, and I feel like that creates like a really cool texture and layering effect. I do like tabs. I'm not big on tip-ins, but if I'm going to tip something in, I want to put a tab, or I hang tabs off the page. This is my pretty much finished. I have one page left in here, but I like to hang tabs off the sides here to just give me like go-to pages. Or in this one, if it was April, I went ahead and put an April tab on here, or May, March. This one says March from behind. I just really like to include tabs, things that kind of stick out of the journal. It makes it interactive, kind of like Allie Brown explains it as doing like a pop-up book. I loved pop-up books when I was little, so that kind of reminds me that interactive feel, tip-ins. I don't like my books to be too bulky. I do love the play with being able to move things and it being pretty interactive. The next question is, where do I gain inspiration and what inspires me? To be honest, I gain inspiration from everything. Anything in my life I can gain inspiration from. But the thing that really calms me and kind of brings me back to my center and really makes me feel refreshed is just going outside. Going for a walk, a hike, getting outside in nature is huge for me. And I will just take my sketchbook, and even if it's just doing like a little study of a rock or a leaf or something, it really does, just breathing that fresh air, getting some sun, that vitamin D, and then also just being able to put pen to paper is probably my favorite thing to do. I also really enjoy Instagram. As much as I feel like it's a time suck, I do find different things from different people that I want to use, which kind of ties back into where I'm finding my style. I think as a person, you're forever evolving, right? Because you're changing every day, your style is going to change every day. The clothes you wear is going to change with the time period of your life. Like I mean, 3 years ago, I was wearing dress clothes every day. I was putting on makeup every day. Not that I really cared to do it. If I had my choice, I'd be in a t-shirt and jeans, t-shirt and yoga pants every day. But you evolve, your style changes, so does your art style. Right now, I'm super inspired by the scenery around me. You know, we moved here 2 years ago from cornfields and relatively flat land to mountains and views for miles because you can get up really high on these mountains and just see forever. You never really truly find exactly your style. You might have it for a moment in time, but it's going to forever be evolving just like you're forever evolving. And that's good. I think, you always want to be learning and changing and growing. I really truly want to be a lifelong learner. Back to my teacher days, but I want to be a lifelong learner. I want to forever evolve. I don't want to be known as, oh, you can't teach that, old girl new tricks, or that saying, you can't teach an old dog new trick. So I think your style and your favorite supplies and your inspiration, it's just kind of evolve. It's going to grow with you. The next question is there a notebook size that I haven't tried that I would like to try? No. Simple as that. No. I've tried pretty much everything from drawing large to drawing teeny tiny. And my favorite size, my go-to size, is a B6. And I really enjoy doing my urban sketching in a 5.5 by 8.5 sketchbook. I have tried landscape books, and I'm not a huge fan, actually. I'd rather have the portrait. Actually, my next sketchbook, sneak peek, or my next journal, I should say, is I bought this because everyone gets suckered. This is going to be my next journal. I have started it, and I'll give you a little sneaky peek. So number 28. It's a little bit, I don't even know the size. My favorite is definitely the B6. So I saved these last questions for the end because they're more about me personally and not about my art. Am I a morning or a night person? So you would think it would just be one answer, but when I was younger and before I had kids, I was definitely a morning person. I would go to bed around 9-10 and I would wake up and want to be moving. I didn't want to waste my day. So that was, until I had kids, that's how it was. Now I feel like I'm a night person because that's the only time I have for myself. So I stay up really late now, and then I just wake up with the kids because it seems like every time I get up early, my husband and I have been starting to do morning pages just 2 days a week, and every time we wake up at 6 o'clock, the kids are awake. They wake up, and then we can't even do it. But if we don't wake up and we sleep in, they'll sleep until 7. So it just never fails. So I'm definitely probably a morning person, but my kids are making me become a night person. Next question, do I prefer summer or winter? Neither. I like the fall or the spring type weather. I'm a definitely 60s to 70s kind of girl, Fahrenheit. And I like to wear t-shirts, jeans, a hoodie. That's, I'll wear shorts and a hoodie or t-shirt and jeans. That's the kind of weather I like. I like to be able to wear my Converse shoes. I would say that I'm a fall girl. We'll say it like that. I'm a fall girl. My favorite drink would be lemonade. Pink lemonade, even though I hate pink. No, just lemonade. But the drink I drink all the time is probably water, and I really like having coffee in the morning. What are my hobbies? I enjoy working out in the morning 3 days a week. My son and I, we get up and we do our exercises. He does them with me. It's quite hilarious. Sometimes I'm laughing the entire time, but he's really good at jumping jacks. And my daughter normally sits on the floor and colors while we work out. Another hobby of mine would be just getting outside. So that could be going for bike rides, going on hikes. I just like to be outside. You all know, obviously, a hobby of mine is art and urban sketching. Next question is, what does my daily life look like? I'm just taking care of my kids. My husband's at work. A lot of times we try 1 day a week to go see him for lunch, if not more, depending on the weather. I just try and keep us active. If we're active, then everyone's happy. If we're sitting still and we're just watching too much TV, it just gets bad. So we get out of the house. And then, there's nap time. So I do a lot of my videos during nap time, which is what you see here. If you look in my videos, here's a little tip for you. If you look at my videos, you can always see my watch. And my watch always says about 3:30 because that's nap time. Are on the move a lot, and I like it that way. But that's what a typical day looks like. It's really just spending time with those kids and loving on them because I don't have very much time with them when they're this little, this time flies. I can't believe that I have a 3-year-old, and I can't believe that my little girl is almost 2. And then my last question is, how old am I? Well, as of right now, I'm still 33. But at 6 p.m. tonight, I will be 34 years old. I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. It was a little nerve-wracking, but I enjoyed talking to you, even though I'm just talking to a camera. I enjoyed talking to you and sharing a little bit more about me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other questions or comments, I love chatting with you in the comment section. If you have Instagram, go check out my Instagram. It's Documented Journey. There's a lot of things that I post on Instagram that I don't necessarily show on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.